I'm Sushil. I'm an executive trustee at India Music Exchange, which is India's music trade organization, formed more than approximately 2 years ago. India Music Exchange is a team and an organization that is backed by several music organizations, royalty collection societies, and CMOs from India, such as IPRS, PPL, RMPL, the Restaurants Association, and thereon. Um, India Music Exchange is not just an export office, it's an export office for Indian music. At the same time, it's also an office for guiding inward mobility. So essentially working with trade organizations from across the world who are interested in India, as well as professionals and companies and private companies which are from around the world who are interested in India. Um, we've also got India International Music Week, which is India's first international music conference and showcase festival, taking place in Goa, as Marathon mentioned, on the 4th, 5th, and 6th of February, 2025. So currently, we're actually in the process of programming. We're in the process of production and everything that it takes to bring India International Music Week to life. We've had a great response from around the world. We've been talking about it for more than a year now, and working India International Music Week's presence and what it's going to be about and the expectations over the last 1 year. And yeah, we're very close to it now, and it's an extremely exciting time to be in India. Um, Raf, do you want to dive into the market presentation from your own?
Sure.
We have a market presentation that will give you a quick gist, almost just scratch the surface on the Indian market and a little bit about the scope and the range of international music in the Indian market.
Right. Are you able to see the
Yeah,
presentation? Okay.
yes.
All right. So just my name's Rafael Pereira. I'm an executive. Um, and today we're going to be talking about the Indian market with with a view of certain kind of high level definitions or high level notes that you should have as perspective when viewing the Indian market that will help you decipher, that will help you understand the context of a lot of conversations that you may already be having or that you will have in the future with Indian stakeholders. Uh, so, just as a snapshot for you, um, the music is a core part of India, whether it is social events, whether it is nightlife, whether it is culture, entertainment. It forms a really big part of the entire um, ecosystem, I would say. I won't say economy, but we'll get to that later. But it surely does form a big part. of our lives in India. So, looking at some of the big numbers, we have 15,000 plus music concerts, and more than 100 of those are large format concerts that have more than 5,000 people attending. Almost 200,000 establishments use program music either in the background or have artists performing at their venues. And we have uh, nine major streaming platforms. And this number is now officially eight because one of the leading Indian streaming platforms called Wink has officially announced that they have shut down. Um, YouTube is the biggest DSP by far in India, and kind of India rules YouTube. If you look at the top 10 artists on YouTube in or top 10 channels, artists on YouTube music in the world, you'll see that at least seven to nine of them are from India. Now, when you look further, the biggest YouTube channels in the world, also T Series is the biggest one. And what's really important for I think you to look at is that Indians are currently consuming more music than the global average. So at least 2 hours per week more than the global average. And this number we expect to see increasing just year on year. For um, for those of you who are looking at the live side of the industry as well as the recorded side of the industry, I think there's much to gain from for both sides because there's traditionally two ways to play India. When you let's t talk about live. We we have, as I mentioned, approximately 100 plus events that are large format concerts and festivals that are happening in the country. At least 15 to 20 of those are programming international artists at a large scale. So we've seen just this month we've seen Maroon 5 and Dua Lipa play to audiences of more than 20,000 people. And at the same time, we've also seen international artists play for audiences of 500 people in the last 2 weeks in auditoriums and clubs, pubs, bars, and restaurants uh, in the country. When we speak about live, we have a strategy that's fairly simple. It is we would look at having you engage with engage with India via three on three separate occasions of you traveling to India and engaging with the market. So whether that is performing um, first at clubs, pubs, bars, and that circuit of venues, and then maybe moving to college festivals or the large format festivals that I spoke about, and then finally on your third tour, that's when you are kind of poised to achieve the larger potential of the market, and this is a rule that's true not just for the smaller emerging artists. This is true for the largest artists in the world at this point. So this holds true to even an Ed Sheeran. Now, I mentioned that there are two ways to play India. So the second way, if we speak on the recording side, um, it's it is based on the fact that in 2022, Chartmetric did an analysis of something called trigger cities around the world, which are cities that majorly affected algorithms by their music consumption or the music consumption of their residents. And there was a list of 20 trigger cities, seven of them based in India. Now, with with that in mind, so there's number one, you can actually come to India and play India, or number two, you can just have a digital strategy that focuses on India and pushes your music to audiences in these seven cities, or pushes your music into India and helps you get those bigger numbers and helps you kind of target the larger, how should I say it, uh, helps you get on the trends, helps you get on the playlist, and helps you really activate the algorithms on all the streaming platforms. Um, Sushil, feel free to jump in wherever you'd like. With the Indian streaming platforms, there are three. At this point, I mentioned that Wing shut down. So it's Ghana, JioSaavn, and Hungama. These are the three that are active in the market, that are available for streaming. Ghana is a premium service, so behind a paywall. JioSaavn is a freemium, so there is a certain free model and free amount of listening that you can have by signing up, and then there is a certain amount of content that is behind the paywall. With Hungama, it's the same as well. Um, quickly on yeah, quickly uh, on genres in India, you have to understand that in India, languages are also considered genres. So there are two Indian languages that are officially genres recognized by Apple Music, and one of them includes Punjabi music that's doing great numbers worldwide. I see that there's only about 9 minutes left on this, so maybe I'll stop with the presentation here, and we can answer some questions with Roman and Anka.
Okay, I don't know what Roman is interested in, but I'm interested in how to get the bands there, or what festivals would you recommend me for the electro music, for the world music, and how much money I can ask from the organizer.
Well, the second part of your question is not something that we can answer, but the first part of your question, with specific to electronic music or electronic music or even world music, I'll take that separately. You know, electronic music, yeah, there are festivals like Echoes of Earth and Magnetic Fields. These are like two of the festivals that really suit for live electronica music. Obviously, India International Music Week is a place where you're gonna be able to access several players and festivals from around the country, including Echoes of Earth and Magnetic Fields. However, you know, from a live electronica band point of view, it is a better idea to, I would say, a best practice, so to say, would be to align yourself with an agent who can work and get your artist slots in festivals as well as venues rather than just festivals. Because, you know, if you're chasing one festival, that's one slot. That's happened with a couple of bands even this year. In fact, some of them reached out to me. Some of the bands that played Magnetic Fields, which just happened last weekend. In fact, Magnetic Fields and Echoes of Earth both happened in different parts of the country just last weekend, just the last 3 days. And there were bands who reached out saying, hey, they got booked directly by the festival, um, but they wanted more gigs. The very fact that they were coming all the way to India for a festival, they were hoping to play more concerts, even venues or even clubs, so to say. So that kind of goes to show that if they had an agent, they would probably have played more than just the festival slot. So that's from a electronic or live electronic music point of view. From world music, um, Rajasthan International Folk Festival, the one you mentioned that you are in touch with Divya, uh, is somebody who is definitely, I would say, from a world music point of view in India, it's one of the premium and one of the topmost festivals, which happens in October, if I'm not mistaken. So that is definitely one of the premium festivals, and if you're booked for that, then there's high chances that, from an Indian organizer's point of view or another organizer who operates in world music, from their point of view, it's definitely a check saying, okay, if they're playing Rajasthan International Folk Festival, then that goes to show a lot because it's known, that festival is known for its programming, so to say. And then there are cultural venues. There's a venue called NMACC in Mumbai. That is one of the venues that also is booking world music acts and artists. Similarly, an agent would be a best method right there as well. And if you already have one slot at, say, Rajasthan International Folk Festival, then it kind of becomes even easier to engage with an agent and make sure, again, also to give you a quick, in principle kind of learning about India, most managers also play the role of an agent, not only for their own artists, but also for other artists or international touring artists. So, the lines between manager, agent, and promoter, obviously the bigger promoters are straight up promoters, and they're just promoting companies and organizations who are hosting large scale concerts. But from a medium scale perspective or mid scale perspective, uh, agents are playing the roles of managers, managers are playing the roles of agents. Both of them are also playing the role of promoters for club gigs. It is from the independent music side of things. I would say DIY is something that the market swears by, and it has been working like that for a few years. Yes, obviously, after a certain point of a manager who represents an artist, and if an artist kind of breaks through to a much larger audience, then there's differentiations that come in very clearly. Then there's an agent that comes in place. But until then, the manager is the agent. So if you get to India International Music Week for that matter, and you're speaking to a manager who is representing an Indian act, there are high chances that that manager is also a potential conversation for you to have for your artist to tour in the country, whether as an agent or as a promoter or as a booker for some festivals himself or herself for that matter. So, yeah, that was to just kind of give you a quick answer on on Bratri specifically, and if any other world music artist that you're looking at. Yeah, apart from that, from a DJ's perspective, there's all kinds of festivals. I think Raf mentioned Sunburn Festival and Digital Festival. Digital, which is obviously Dutch, a Dutch festival um, which has been present in India for a couple of editions. In fact, they're having a Goa edition in December this year. That'll be a first because previously Digital has always been in Mumbai. This time is the first time that they're actually executing an edition in Goa as well. So, yeah. Apart from that, there are various festivals from a DJ's perspective. Obviously, we all know that it's easier to tour with DJs because it's one person traveling. The logistics are lesser, the production is lesser. Um, an agent would be the best one, and there are very, very high chances that if your artist is a DJ who's been booked by a promoter in the country, there are very high chances that that same promoter is also gonna be able to book at least 3 or 4 other gigs for you in the country.
Okay, thank you.
Roman, do you have any questions?
Hi, Roman. Good to see
Uh, Hi, thank you very much for this information. I think we all want to go to India because India is a very interesting market for we, yeah, but we don't know how start it. I have a music group, more is from rock style, yeah, and now is very interesting female rock, and I have this group. but we don't know how we can go to India, because we have music, we have techniques, we are ready go to India, but we don't have good contact in India. I have contact now with some managers, maybe managers from India, but the last years we are communicate and nothing from it. Yeah, we need a real manager in India, or booking manager. I don't know when we can talking with him really about cooperate.
Right. Well, I don't know your music, Roman, so I won't be able to.
And do you have any tips for the agents?
For Bratri specifically?
Yes.
Let me kind of send in a few links, or what I could do is, because I know Bratri and their music,
Perfect.
I could kind of send a few of those links to a few promoters and agents or managers or in that direction. And then let's see what kind of comes back. They're a duo, so it's efficient in terms of cost efficient to have them travel as well. It becomes an easier call for somebody, but it would be always good to, even if it is one concert or two concerts, even if it is club or venue, if a festival, then great, because festivals you usually address a lot more people than in a club. But it's always a good idea. One tip that I would give you, that even if you get one concert in a good venue, then get in there, play that one concert, because what happens is that, the word spreads from there. Um, apart from the fact that even if it's a festival, India is a hyperactive country where, with respect to social media, and whatever happens in a festival never stays in a festival. It always gets on social media. Obviously, given that the fact that it's a great set and it's appreciated by the audiences, but that's what has kind of worked and has brought bands back to the country time and again. Also, obviously, depends on their performance and their music and what they're working as a strategy musically. But just to give you like one example, this is an example that we speak quite a lot about because it's a great example. He came to India for the first time maybe 10 years ago and played a small venue to 50 people. And his last concert was earlier this year, I think. Yeah. Earlier this year, 5,000 people, standalone solo show. Obviously, the fact that he has been working his music in the world, and has been working his own music uh, online and stuff like that, works in his favor. Uh, but yeah, it's one great example of barely anybody knew about FKJ when he first started coming to India. And then, of course, he made friends in India. So he's actually in India very often. Now he's in India more often than he's playing. I think right now, if I'm not mistaken, he was in India for the last 1 month. And he was just here writing music and just chilling, and he's made friends. So he was just with his friends. But yeah, even if it's one concert, don't underestimate that, as long as it's in a good city, in a good venue. In fact, just one example I'll give you is Bad Focus, from Czech Republic, who's currently in Mumbai. Uh, Came in for a concert in Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad is a city, just to give you one insight, it's a dry city. By that I mean there is no alcohol in the city. Alcohol is prohibited in the state of Gujarat. That's where Ahmedabad is. And he was booked by a venue who, at the end moment, they had some changes and they had some complications. So they shifted the gig into the kitchen. This was Bad Focus featuring ATM Benny, playing in a kitchen in Ahmedabad on a Saturday night, on a Friday night. This is just 2 days ago. Surprisingly, it was an amazing gig. In fact, if you see Bad Focus's social media handles, he actually claims that it was the best gig he ever played. But you know, why is that? I know why is that, but you might find it quite funny saying, hey, he played to barely 100 people in a kitchen of a restaurant. But why was that a great gig? Is because the people in Ahmedabad, for that matter, because it's a dry state, imagine where does any venue make their money from? One is obviously gate sales, second is bar sales, but the bars aren't serving alcohol, so there is no revenue per se to the system, right? Um, and this gig that he played was an amazing gig because of the audience and the energy that he got off the audience. Is because Ahmedabad as a city does not have too much happening. So when there's anything that happens, everybody shows up. Everybody shows up in full spirit and high energies. And that's exactly what happened. If you see his Instagram handle and you see it's a small room and it's a small room where they've played to like 50 people, 100 people in overall. But yeah, it just happens so that it turns out to be the best gig he ever played is because of the energy that he gets from the audience. And so yeah, it is a complicated market. He did not even know that Ahmedabad is a dry city, and he did not know the concept of a dry state. It's like, what do you mean dry state? It's like dry state means no alcohol. Alcohol is prohibited. um, but that's what he's had a great time there. The organizers and the promoters and the audiences had a great time there, and that's what's gonna kind of take him back to Ahmedabad. And there's no two ways about it. The next time he gets to India, there's no two ways that he is definitely going to Ahmedabad to play a concert. Apart from Mumbai, of course, because Mumbai is obviously known as the entertainment capital of the country and stuff like that. But yeah, that was just to kind of give you a quick idea on what it takes. It takes one good gig to get your audience out there. Suddenly, all the electronic music promoters are now talking about a gig that happened in a kitchen in Ahmedabad. And a gig that was amazing. And like, hey, who was the artist playing at this gig? Why are these videos just like, why is everybody sharing these videos? Because it was not something that was expected. But yeah, obviously, this was also given that they played a great set. Um, and they made good friends in Ahmedabad who are now in touch with them. And they're already talking about next time you get to Ahmedabad, we're going to plan a much bigger gig and we're going to promote it much more. And so, yeah, you never know what works. It's not something that he could have or anybody could have planned for. It's not something that you could have imagined that this would be a great gig. In fact, I'm sure one night before when they decided to shift the gig into the kitchen, everybody had their inhibitions. Everybody had a big question mark on their forehead saying, why are we playing in the kitchen? But they went with it and it worked for them. So
Should we go to Roman's question?
yes.
He was asking, yeah.
Hello, Roman.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, Roman. So I was
Perfect.
saying that I don't know your music too well, so I'm unable to tell you what is the direction that you should kind of push in and what is the direction you should work in. But if you are in touch with people, then just take the initiative. It takes an initiative the first time. I know if you've not been to India before, then it's a difficult or a challenging decision to take, saying like, why am I going to India for one gig or even if it's one concert? The people that you're the agents or managers that you are in touch with in India, um, if you show an initiative of getting to India and saying, "Hey, I'm coming to India, let's do one concert to start with, or one gig to start with," that helps them make the decision because from a promoter's point of view or from a venue or a booker's point of view to make the decision on the cost of what it takes for international flights and the production and the promotion of a given concert, it's a very difficult decision for them to take, to say, yes, come on, let's do it, because you've got to realize they're in touch with 100 other artists like they're in touch with you. The ones who show the initiative, the ones who make the initiative of just getting to the country and saying, hey, I'm just coming there anyway. Why don't you just book me why don't you start booking me a gig? Maybe that will help. Again, I've not heard your music, so I'm unable to kind of give you any further direction from there on, but initiative goes a long way. You just got to get here, and obviously not just completely on there are season dates and there are season months and there are off-season months, so to say. There are times of the year, approximately from July to October, when it's raining most of the country. So not really the most active time in terms of gigs and concerts. But that's only to outdoor gigs and concerts. Indoor gigs and concerts still go on. Club gigs and concerts still go on.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I understand. And we need not one gig. Yeah, we want to cooperate with more concerts, more concert tour. And
Yeah.
and now is question, in Czech Republic we must first working with PR, with radio, yeah, for name this music. And in Indian we must starting too with radio, with name, with PR,
Okay.
or we can start really concert on some festivals, rock festivals, I don't know, for faster work, because we want especially live concert. Yeah.
Right. So it always helps to get a concert and then work your PR around the concert. If you are coming to India anyway, there's no one formula to this, to be honest, around the world. I don't think anybody can tell you there is one formula to work this. But it's always a good idea that if you do a concert and if you are booked for a concert, it's always a good idea to do some marketing and PR around the same time when you're coming to India. And then there's another way of saying, okay, let me just work my music online first, through Instagram and Spotify, and other platforms and YouTube, and then see how you can create a demand. However, there's no one absolute right way to do this. I don't think anybody can tell you an absolute right way to do this. But if you get to India first, it's very, like right now, without having come to India at all or never performed in India, I think it's very difficult for anybody sitting in any other part of the world to even create a plan for India. Um, I think if you get to India first, it gives you a better understanding of what the market is like. Apart from the fact that once you get here is when you really make your connections. Also, even with respect to business in India, India is all about relationships. It's about how you build relationships and take those relationships forward. There have been several examples of artists, independent artists, mid-segment artists, and top segment artists who have and whose agencies and managers have relationships that have been going on for a long time. That's what helps people plan their tours better. That's what helps artists from around the world plan their tours, plan their promotion, plan their marketing, and make India a part of your, so to say, go-to market strategy beyond anywhere that you are. You are in Czech Republic, but for any artist in any part of the world who's looking at getting out of and promoting themselves out of their region, it's the same philosophy that applies to India as well. It's just that India is a way more complicated market because of the cultural diversity and the geographical diversity, the socio-economic kind of differences. And it's very difficult to kind of explain all of that in an online workshop. Nothing will give you better experience than getting to India and experiencing it firsthand, and getting a gist of what I am telling you right now.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Maybe we can organization meet with Martin with help
Yes.
with sound check.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm ready. Go to India and preparing all. But I need this good contact. Maybe Martin can help me with it.
Absolutely. Let's set the meeting for next year. I can put my email here in the chat, and like the beginning of the next year, we can just like catch up. Don't hesitate to write. Second week of January, it's good for me already to meet. We can go through according to what we learned. I see Martin here as well as
Okay, thank you guys. It's very good meet. Thank you for this information, and I will contact you about maybe some corporate.
Yeah, we can go through everything, but you have achieved or any other ways, and because there are lots of other ways they can help you. So yeah, we can go through on what you have in mind and how can we help you on that.
Yeah, super. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roman.
So, are we having Martin Krajicek here? Trying to discover who else is on this call. Oh, yes. Hello.
You're on mute.
Martin is from Chunky Show. Really great band. You should see them live.
Hello. I'm a little bit late because trouble with Zoom.
How are you doing? Any questions maybe for Rafael and Sushil? You didn't hear the presentation that Rafael was giving, so might be the good idea to just drop in some things that you would have in mind.
Not now. I must look on the records back because about the problem with Zoom, I see last 10 minutes.
Okay. Good. Then we are recording this meeting, so I can send it over.
Great, thanks.
That Rafael was doing. That stands for everyone. Who else? Might be Kujal on the call. Was unusually silent. But oh, look here. Oh yes.
Hello guys. Hi Sushito, hi Raf, hi everyone.
What's up?
Yeah. Good, difficult weekend, you know. So yeah, just trying to recover. I missed also the beginning. I thought it's at 10, so I was late, so I missed the presentation. But I thought I know a bit about Indian market, but it's you never know enough, I guess, about any market because the things are changing. So what did you? I have one question. Maybe you spoke about it on the beginning, but if you want to play in India, perform, you always need a business visa and you always need a working permit, right? Sorry if it was in your presentation. No?
Yeah. Yes. Playing in India, it's even if there's no fee, it's advisable to have an e-business visa, at the very least. Um, and now visa regulations are, they're always changing. So there are updates every 6, 8, and 12 months, depending on the sector. Now, uh, if you if you are receiving a fee, also, and depending on the nature of the performance, whether it's in a venue um, or establishment, the e-business visa can continue to apply for the smaller gigs in um, in certain venues to play, let's say, at college festivals, things like that. Um, when you are playing at the larger events and festivals that have, let's say, um, more than more than 15, 20,000 people, the visa category kind of changes depending on your contract with the promoter. So if there is a contract that has a touring company involved, has an agency involved, um, and then has the artist receiving a fee, then uh, yeah, then um, then you would need an employment or business visa that is not an electronic one. That's something you would have to go to a consulate, submit your passport, and get the visa stamped in your passport, and get it out. But if it's not that complex, it's a straight agreement between you and the promoter, or the artist and the promoter. The e-business visa should work in more cases.
Also,
Eh,
even though
Sorry.
your um, requisite ends at creating the e-business visa, thereon the promoter is required to submit the e-business visa to get a permit for an international artist to play. So just make sure that when you do apply for an e-business visa, you speak to the respective promoter and make sure that you give them enough time to thereon apply for a permit based on your e-business visa. So after an artist's e-business visa is acquired, it still requires approximately at least 1 week's time for that promoter to get a permit based on the visa. That's what the process is as of right now. It's actually the process that has always been the case. It wasn't being enforced as hardly and as strongly by the authorities. But I guess it's just a matter of time, and it's got their attention. And it now is a time when they are starting to apply the rule and the process.
So how long
Oh,
does it take and how much does it cost approximately?
$80, $80
Mhm.
e-business visa. And how is it with the Indian
And
International Music
and how
Week?
long does it take to arrange it?
48 hours. Yeah,
Okay,
48
so it's
hours.
fast.
Yeah,
But
if
it
there's
72,
depends. I
70,
think
70, they have 72, like officially they have 72, but they are faster now. They are faster than 1 year ago. Yeah, but it's it takes like first time it takes to discover, the system online. It takes few hours, and you need invitation letter and. But what about Indian like showcase festival which you are organizing, for example? You also need, because it's good to speak about it. It's in few months, yeah. Maybe someone will go to perform at Indian International Music Week. For this case, it also you need e-business visa, or the tourist is enough.
e-business visa would be recommended for any sort of conference, showcase festival, or event that you're attending for business purposes.
this is
Also
not only
for
at this
us, like managers. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, good to know.
Can
That's a
you-
change.
Yeah, it sounds like. Can you advise, like, what would be the process? E-business visa is also a fast process thing, or was the?
It's the same. It's the same process. It's the same. Yeah, it's the same form. It's just you select a different category. But I mean,
Oops.
small technicality. The immigration never creates a problem for people attending conferences on an e-business on an e-tourist visa. They don't do that. But for artists, they tend to question a lot more. So if you say you're going to perform or you're going to do some sort of services, um, then they always want you to have an e-business visa at the very least. So the same visa website that you normally fill for the e-tourist visa, it's e-tourist visa at the top, and then it says e-business visa just below that. So yeah, that's what it is. Generally, to attend conferences, e-tourist also works, but in some cases, we've seen that um, people from export offices specifically ask their local consulate, and the local consulate always says no, e-business visa and things like that. So, and especially if you're speaking at the conference or conducting some sort of workshops, you're going to be on stage or things like that. It's just a safer option at I think the same cost. And sometimes they even give you a longer duration visa under e-business.
Great, thank you.
All right. I think that's
Yeah, thank you, because that's a change from before. And good to know if it's Indian International Music Week is ahead, so it's good to be ready.
yeah.
Absolutely. Any more questions, suggestions? Okay. So thank you so much, Rafael and Sushil, for your time and for the workshop. We will collect. You have. I think it would be great to have some information, additional. So in case you're finding it, if there's some further need through me, everyone can reach to you. Keep in mind that both Sushil and Rafa will be very busy in the next few months, I would say. And yeah, thank you so much again. And send us your questions. We can still look at it. One last question. Do you plan to have some database slowly in the future getting on for India? Some content connecting point or some basic things?
I think we are considering having a website that at least has some of the festivals that are up there where we will have we will have members and members profiles, sort of an import export program. So that kind of platform where people are present and their info is available. So yeah, it's it's currently but it's currently on the agenda, but low in priority compared to India International Music Week. So
yeah. Well, we have a late bird. Lukash just joined in for the farewell words. Hello.
Hi.
all right.
Um,
I have to drop off, so I'm going to say bye to everyone, and hope to see you all soon in Goa.
Thank you.
Can't
Bye.
wait.
yes, looking forward. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Bye.
Martha,
So
if you need me, I can stay on for another 5 minutes before my next call.
yes, in case, Lucas, you have a quick question because we are running this call already for an hour. If you have a question to Sushil, because we will send over the presentation that Rafael was doing on the market.
I think it's been recorded.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So will you send the link?
Yeah, we will send the link
Okay,
over.
great. I have no questions in this moment.
Okay, all right.
Oh,
Then great seeing you. Have a nice time.
all right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Marathon.
Thank you. Bye.
See you soon. Take care.
See
Bye-bye.
you.